Hey everyone, Ben Coomber Radio, episode number 229. Now, I'm on my own. I'm on my own because I've been flying around the country on the tour. I haven't really got myself organised with a guest, and I thought, do you know what? It's been a little while since I've done a solo show. Now we've axed the Monday shows, and I've had to just commit to the Thursday shows as we always used to. So I thought I'd go solo, and bringing up the topic of the talk, it kind of fits in nicely with an email that I've got that's got fed into the podcast. So by the way, if you want to write into the podcast, email bencoomber@gmail.com with the subject line podcast, and your question will get thrown into the mix. Now, going on the tour, meeting an awful lot of people, it's been an incredible experience because I've got to meet and talk to and engage with so many different people that are on loads of different levels and journeys on their lifestyle. So I've met people that are just starting out, I've met experienced personal trainers, I've met people that have got roadblocks, they're really struggling with the confusing world of nutrition, and I think it's amazing. And what I've really tried to do with the tour and going around and doing a lot of seminars at the moment is really just make people stand back and be truly reflective about where they are. Now, I am someone that is, fairly advanced with their nutrition. I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty advanced with training. I know what I'm doing. I've spent a lot of time investing into it. Same with the mindset, same with loads of other stuff. But I'm always evolving my journey. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to explore. I'm always looking to expand, tweak, admit when I'm wrong, admit when things need to change, admit things when I'm not doing things right, admit when I'm struggling. And this email ties in really nicely. So with the stuff that I've been teaching with the tour, and by the way, if you haven't been able to make a tour venue, that's absolutely cool. I've had the the seminar that I'm delivering on the tour now, I've had it recorded. It's been recorded in the London venue, so it's now being edited, and it will be available on my website in the not too distant future, and I will let you know when that is done so that you can grab a copy for yourself and not miss out on what I feel is very valuable content. Now, what I've tried to do with the content is just say to people, look, do you know what? It doesn't matter where you are right now. And do you know what? We're 229 episodes into this podcast. You've been through a lot with me. We're over 3.5 years old. We've gone through highs, lows. We've talked about all sorts of stuff. We've had amazing guests. There's so much that's happened. But I meet people all the time that have been listening to this podcast for a long time, have been with me for a long time, have listened to all the podcasts, sometimes listened to the podcast twice, but still have blocking factors, are still not being reflective on their journey, are still not being honest about the things that need to change. So I'm going to read you a story about a man called Jax, and he tells a story about how he came to one of our conferences, and it was really kind of a turning point for him to kind of stand back and go, do you know what? I'm really going to change some stuff now. I've been listening to all this kind of for a while. It's been passive learning. And this is why sometimes it's not so good to listen to podcasts on the go, because do you truly engage with it? Do you stop? Do you reflect and think, do you know what? How am I actually going to implement this knowledge? Am I going to implement this knowledge? Have I already forgotten it because I've just got a tweet on my phone and now I'm looking at this? So sometimes this is where we really need to just sit on information, and this is where the culture of learning, I sometimes think, is a little bit problematic in the world of fitness, because I think sometimes we actually learn a little bit too much. We learn so much and we're always looking for the next thing that we don't actually sit on that knowledge and just say, do you know what? I'm just going to absorb that knowledge. I'm going to work with it. I'm going to change that stuff. And then I'm going to look for new knowledge and progress. So I think we do need to be wary about how much knowledge we expose ourselves to, because there is a such thing as too much, because you'll just get paralysed with it. You won't do enough about it. When I coach people, sometimes I'll just make small changes, and small changes can take that person a long way. And it might not be that we add a couple of things till 2-3 weeks down the line because it's enough. But some people are trying to do so much with so much information that we never really get anywhere because we're just literally trying to do too much. So anyway, I'm going to read you the story from Jax. Hi Ben, how's it going? I've just listened to podcast 201 and had to message you with my story and how you and your business have been a big part of it. I attended the BTN conference. I emailed you a few months ago in December, and after hearing Stephen A speak, it was so positive and I felt so full of beans heading back to Berkshire from Manchester. To give you a bit of background, I've worked in the car industry for 7 years, and after a short period of redundancy, I decided to move down south from Scotland, leaving my family and friends to make a new start. My goal throughout was to work for a manufacturer, so when I was approached about a job at Porsche last year, I couldn't quite believe it. I started there last January feeling nervous about being good enough and would I fit in. A brash Scot working for such a prestigious brand. Fast forward to January this year, a year later and just 2 months after your conference. I drove back to Berkshire after spending Christmas at home, crying all the way. I couldn't even answer the phone to my friend when I stopped for coffee as I was so upset about coming back. Things went from bad to worse, and being the strong, independent female, I kept going over everything that was happening at work, blaming myself, wondering if I wasn't good enough, what I had done and what I was doing wrong, beating myself up and giving myself such a hard time. I went home again for the main bank holiday and felt worse driving back than I did at Christmas. For 2 weeks I couldn't stop crying at even the slightest thing, and it culminated with me emailing the Samaritans one Saturday night because I just couldn't understand what was wrong with me. I just needed to tell someone what was going on. I ended up booking an appointment to see a counsellor, and I had a light bulb moment. My washing machine brain and the thoughts swirling around my head had all been poured out to a stranger. I realised why I was how I was, and I decided at that moment to fix it. I had started following Stephen A on social media and ordered a couple of books he'd recommended. I needed to love my life and feel like I was doing something that represented me and who I am. Ever since I can remember, I've wanted to have my own business, and at the BTN conference, it was one of the goals for this year that I wrote down. So before I carry on with this story, when we engage in a conference, I get everyone to go through a goal-setting process with some things that they wanted to achieve. We then did a big networking task, where people were then allowed to go and find people that they felt that they could help with their goals. Everyone had name badges on. So if my goal was to find a CrossFit coach in Manchester, a CrossFit coach in Manchester could go and find that person and help that person. Now that's quite an easy, superficial kind of goal, and obviously one of Jax's goals was to open up her new business, and she might have had people help her at the conference with this task that we do. Why? Because I want people that come to our events not just to learn something, but to have meaningful engagements and actually create great change off the back of it. Anyway, I also booked Steve to speak at an event I was organising for Porsche, and hearing him speak again was exactly what I needed. I started to take action. I set up a website. I resigned from the corporate bullshit world and the toxic office I was in, gave notice to my tenant back in Scotland and to my landlord here in Berkshire, and I've already started to feel the most excited I've ever felt about work. I know it's not going to be easy. I'm single, so supporting myself and going full-time self-employed, but I'm determined that I want to do this, and the only way is to take risks and be true to myself. I resonated with what Rachel said about imposter syndrome, but I switched my thinking and tell myself I am good enough. I've worked my arse off for others, and now it's time to work my arse off for me, doing something that will ultimately help others. I've gone from a positive mindset in November to gradually losing my mind, and seeing a counsellor in May to taking action to make positive changes and taking control of my own shit. So thank you for telling it like it is in your podcast. Life is crap sometimes, and it is all so easy to fall into dark territory. But as long as we take care of our health, our mind especially, we can get through it and turn negatives into great positives. Take care, Jax. Now this is awesome, right? someone that's been reflective, been honest, reached out, spoken to someone that's supportive. And it seems a little bit, I suppose, strange that actually Jax reached out to Samaritans, which seems like a bit of a lot of people would think that's a weak thing to do, and Samaritans is often, helps people, in really bad places. But, there's so many organisations out there that have been set up to help people on their journey, and a lot of people feel that they can't speak to people in their current environment, that they can't speak to maybe loved ones because there's too much judgment or fear around what they're going to say. So Jax just needed someone to really connect with and open up. And the amount of people that listen to mindset stuff and think, yeah, I need to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to start to, I believe it, I can see the value in it, but never truly consistently over time actually apply that to really get the kind of change that they want. So I think all I really want you to take home from today, and I think I kind of almost have done this podcast about 40, 50, 60 episodes. I want you to think right now about where you are and where you want to be. What now looks like, how you can really stand back and be reflective, be really aware and self-assess what that situation currently looks like, and how you really want to progress over the next 1 month, 1 year, 3 years, and so on. Jax has fully appreciated that the changes that she wants to make are not going to happen quickly. But if she stays where she's at, she's not going to be happy. And that's ultimately it. Things won't change in 3 months. They might not change in the way that we want them to in 3 years. But we have to say to ourselves, am I going to stay like this now for the foreseeable and long-term future? Or am I going to make positive change? Am I going to take the action that I need to take? Am I going to improve the situation, whatever that is for you and your individual circumstances? And I know that because I can do this, because I'm strong, because I have the skill set, and if not, I'm going to learn the skill set and find people to help me, that in 3 years' time things will be different and I will be in a much better place. And sometimes we just have to invest this time and go through a few crap times. It's like setting a goal and knowing that you've got some hard yards to do. It's like fat loss. Getting to a lean physique is sometimes a bit of a problematic journey. You've got to do a few tough workouts, be hungry a bit at the time, etc. But at the end of the tunnel that you're doing it for a real reason, and you're motivated and you're bought into that process. So just from today, think about where you're moving. Think about where you're going. Think about why. Connect with it. Realise it. If you're unsure, reach out to the people that you think you can help you. So that's all I want from you as an individual, to live your best life. And whether that's a change of career, a change of weight, a change of sport, a change of dynamics, a change of where you live, I don't know. But all I'm saying is chase the things that you want to chase out of life, live the things that you really want to live, love the people that you really want to love. And that's it. That's me done for today. That's all I want to leave you with. I will see you on the next episode with Mark Fisher, who is the owner of Business for Unicorns and owns an incredible gym in New York. I'll see you next week. That is going to be a very lively show, so put your seatbelts on. Otherwise, have an incredible week. Stay awesome, progress to be more awesome, and really, that's the aim of the game. Ciao. Hey everyone, Vancouver Radio, episode number 228. Now, I'll tell you what, I actually feel a little bit rusty. Part of me is just slightly nervous.